Well, our moms think we're funny.
Oh, hey everyone, my name is Turk182.
And I'm Acomi. I'm full of pizza.
Huh. Hey, I have a question. Because, with everything that's been going on, I haven't been listening to as many podcasts as I normally would.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I have, all the podcasts that I listen to, we've mentioned several of the different podcasts that we like that we listen, that we normally listen to or whatever, so we've mentioned all those. But how do most podcasts start theirs off? Because, we always like, hey, this is who we are. I'm like, is that what everybody does? Or is there a better way, or one that's like, obviously I know you are, for most people, we listen to you, or at least I read the description or something. But, do you know?
No, I don't.
I'm just curious if there's like another way or something that's more, I don't know, exciting, different.
I think our way is pretty perfect.
Well, yeah, it's us.
Like we're right and everyone else is wrong. So. Well,
I think it's just maybe we just want to differentiate ourselves, from the rest of the crowd there.
Well, every time I try to do something different, you say I'm not professional.
That's because the shit that you do is not professional. I'm not just making shit up just to make you feel bad.
No, I'm pretty sure that's all you're doing.
No, maybe, but and also, fuck you. So, but no, I'm being somewhat sincere, ish. But I'm just curious. Like, is there a better way of like opening up other than always saying, "Hey, everybody, my name is."
I don't know. How do they do it on Behind the Bastards? They just say "Welcome back to Behind the Bastards," right?
And then he gives his name and stuff, and then whose guests are and all that kind of stuff. So
he does that because that's the way we do it.
Well, yeah, we did start out before he did, a couple years after he did. So
yeah, but we still thought of it first.
We did. He stole our idea, and that's why I now wear a tinfoil hat. So I've got a question here, just because I was just kind of like just messing on my phone, while I was talking.
Yeah.
And just curious, Mortal Kombat video game. At first it was the Elite Fighters and all this kind of stuff, and that's cool. I that was fun. I enjoyed it. And then he started kind of adding in some other stuff. Then they did the whole we're gonna bring in they already had like supernatural kind of characters in there.
Yeah, right.
I was right, and I was gonna say, well, like Liu Kang shooting like fireballs and shit out of his fist. Obviously that's not normal, but then they started kind of adding in more things in this and that, but then they just started bringing in like, oh, well, here's Jason, and then Leatherface, and then Xenomorphs and Predators, and then Rambo and Terminator and Pennywise. I'm like, come on, like. At what
Pennywise
point
is in Mortal Kombat now?
I don't know. Maybe shit.
God, I hope so.
Now that I've said it, he is. I'm sure. I'm sure now that I've said it, like, oh, I know, we didn't think about that before. And one of his finishing moves, he like lures one of them into like a sewer with like Jax. He's like holding up like real arms for him. He's like, what? He's like, we've got arms for you down here in the sewer, Jax. He's like, oh, really? And then like. At some point, it just seems like it's just like it like jumped the rails and over a shark, and then like across the moon.
I heard somebody online say that what Mortal Kombat has become is basically Super Smash Brothers if your dad picked the roster. Yeah, who we need on here is Rambo.
Right.
You ever watch Rambo? Rambo's cool.
Yeah, like how did Rambo get into that? Like,
I don't have a fucking clue.
And why?
He's like the least Mortal Kombat thing ever. It doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Next thing you know, they're gonna bring it. Now, this would be funny is if they brought in Rambo, but then they brought in other Stallone characters like So then
Rocky.
Then Rocky, and then what else has he played? It's like iconic like that.
Yeah, just Rambo and Rocky. He's a pretty obscure actor.
No, that's true. I was gonna say you could bring in Demolition Man.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Maybe we could get Demolition Man in there, and then maybe one of his character from like Expendables or something, and
yeah.
but which would be kind of funny to just have like nothing but all these different Stallone like variants.
I'd be into it. You know, I like Stallone.
And then they're like maybe you could then sell costume packs of like you could change like Rocky. I mean, they're all like skins anyway, but you could do one where like he could be like Oscar.
They need the nude Stallone from the Italian Stallion.
Oh yeah. What is the name of that? Weekend at Stu and shit. What's the name? The actual real name of it? It's like Weekend at Martha and Stewart's or some shit like that.
Oh yeah, I never knew. I always thought the real title was Italian Stallion.
No, he actually just has like a really small piece in the movie.
Oh, that's not what I thought was going to be small.
No. But after Rocky blew up, they re-released it and renamed it the Italian Stallion and put him all over it to be like, and he's in it, but yeah, he's from my understanding he doesn't have like a really big role in it at all, and I don't think he really does anything sexual in it. I think he's just or he might, but I also believe I read that he did that just to get enough money to like produce or do something. So that was like his whole thing.
I knew that like Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe?
Yeah, he did like a couple of pornos just to make enough money to leave his hometown. But speaking of...
what was he live in New Jersey?
I don't know.
I'm an asshole.
I mean, he's the one who they had to get the body double for because his penis was too big. It confused the producer.
Yeah, he was confused, all right. He's probably in his tent
What's
like...
this I'm failing?
He's probably in his tent like crying. Like, why? It's not fair. It's not fair. Look at him. Look at him. He looks like that. He's got a dick like that.
But speaking of Italians, is it racist if I ran about Italians for a little bit?
No, not at all.
I mean, I didn't think it'd be racist.
I mean, it's kind of racist. Yeah. I mean, you can all you want. I'm just saying. And I was saying, and by the way, if you want to talk about like Willem Dafoe having like a huge dick and that not being fair, check out Michael Fassbender sometime. Yeah, that'll make you feel bad about yourself. I mean, not only is he talented and he's a good-looking guy, then he's like swinging that shit like a lasso. I mean, like that's not fair at all.
Of course.
Hey, shit, fuck him and Bradley Cooper.
I mean, would it be racist if I ranted about Irish? I don't have a rant about the Irish.
No. Okay, I'll say this. If you rant about Italians and then another race, then it's not racist, because then you're not picking on them specifically.
Okay.
It's
just every freaking Italian I've ever met, okay?
I'm listening.
They always use, like, their Italianness as, like, this catch-all excuse for them being the way they are. And granted, I haven't met a ton of Italians. Just enough.
So,
just enough to form an opinion. Like, maybe 3 or 4. But
5. I mean, 6 or 7.
It could be 9 or 10. I mean, I live in a rural area. That's a pretty impressive number of Italians to meet within that time frame.
You say rural, and I say rural. Anyway, so we're sitting there like, did you say something about the Holocaust?
But every Italian I've personally interacted with, you know how white chicks always like do the whole zodiac thing? It's like, oh, I'm such a Libra. That kind of thing. You get what I'm talking about.
I mean, I date white girls, but I've never actually listened to them.
I mean, me neither. It's just like memes and shit. They always like they're all about the zodiac shit.
Right.
It's stupid.
Until he shows up and is like, I want to tie you up and kill you. They're just like, oh, I'm not into the zodiac anymore. I'm like, bitch, this is all for you.
No, there's so many people obsessed with these stupid serial killers.
No, but go on. It's the thing where like that's that. Like a response for like an excuse for something. Like,
I'm the way I am because I'm an Aquarius or whatever, and it's infuriating. But then I hear Italian people do that kind of shit, and it's just like a catchphrase of like, well, I am Italian, and I don't hear that with like other European people. I've never heard somebody go, well, I can be an ass about the food I eat because I'm French. Or shit like that. Yet I don't hear people say that. I hear people say shit like, oh, well, I'm a real bitch to the barista at Starbucks because I'm Italian. I know my coffee. I've heard people say that shit. It drives me crazy. Yes! And maybe I just am meeting asshole Italians, and maybe it's not like the way they all are. I'm just saying, just the ones I've met.
Go on, I'm listening.
Like, shit, this all started when I was a kid. And
that's how most races get started.
Yeah. What's the deal with that? No, it was like a church.
See that people over there, boy? Those Italians. They suck. And you see them, you spit on them and call them a dirty-ass Italian.
So, my grandpa...
That's how it starts, too. It starts with a grandfather.
My grandpa went to Italy during World War II. He wasn't fond of it. No, that's not what I'm talking about. No, it was a church potluck thing. And somebody had just brought, like, store-bought biscottis. It wasn't, like, homemade or anything. Somebody just bought some fucking biscottis to this church potluck. And this chick was acting like she was the fucking final word on biscottis. And, like, from across the room, she comes running. It's like, somebody say there's biscottis here? I want to try them. I know all about biscottis. I'm Italian. It's like, what? And then she takes a bite of this fucking store-bought, out-of-the-box biscotti and is like, that tastes just like a real biscotti. It's like, oh, God.
Well, I mean, it's... so... It's something that is a part of them. It's ingrained. It's part of their dinner. I mean, it's like, so, for example, I'm actually part Italian. And the one thing...
That explains all the times you do this with your hands.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
Yeah. Well, I guess if you really want to break it down, I'm part Moor, but we'll get into that later. So, it's being part Italian, though, like, you learn different things because it's just a natural part of you. So I learned, like, the pantomime, right? So, like, women have, like, 26 pantomimes. Men only have...
Okay.
I'm waiting for you to catch on to the whole True Romance thing. Even when I mentioned, like, the Italians and I'm part Moor, and you're just like, I'm listening, go on. No.
It took me a minute.
Oh, jeez whiz. So
I've been out of it this weekend. If you haven't caught on, I'm not doing well. Like I said, maybe it's just the few I've met, and I just have bad luck meeting Italians.
You know, I think what it is, it's not necessarily like a particular race. I think it's people that are so insecure with who they are or their identity that they have to use their entire cultural identity as their own. So it's like, because, like, for example, like, because I'm, a man, right? It was like, oh, wait, you're talking about men. Oh, I know all about men. Let me tell you. And it's like, and I go over there and I'm like, it's like, oh no, yeah, that's a real man. Trust me, I know that's a real. I'm like, no, you know shit. I mean, unless you were raised specifically in that environment, you don't know anything. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm black. I can't throw a spear worth shit. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. Right? That's not how I was raised. I don't like being out in the sun. I don't like the heat. I'm not awfully fond of sand because it gets everywhere. Unless that cotton is woven and in the form of like a pair of pants and a shirt, I don't like that shit either. I'm just saying, unless you were raised in something, but people are like, they want to think that they're special in some way, and if you're a particular race that's supposedly like a culture that's known for something like that. So as an Italian, there's so many Italian things to be like, oh, because I know lasagna. Let me tell you, right? It's like,
They
really
do that.
Really, do you? Because can you bake lasagna? No, I don't do it, but I can tell you when one is really well done. So can I? It's called fucking taste buds.
Yeah.
I mean, but. And I think it could be...
Being Italian isn't a personality trait. It drives me crazy.
It's not. What I think is, though, that for your interaction, because you live in a smaller area, you're coming across a smaller group of people, and either they all know each other and they're all family, all act like that, or it's because, like, maybe one of them started it, and then the others kind of latch on and be like, oh, hey, this shit works. Or...
These people were relatively unconnected. Now, I do have to say, the last Italian I met was actually a pretty cool guy. He immediately threatened to kill somebody within, 30 seconds of me talking to him, but he was a cool guy other than that. He was one of the only people who didn't, just immediately say the words, I'm Italian.
Well, I mean, did he have to?
No, because he walked up to me with like the slicked back hair and like it was like combing it back, and then it was introduced to me as Mario. It was like, yeah, I'm Mario. Yeah, this guy here I'm working with, I'm gonna fucking kill him. All right. Yeah. So he didn't have to say I'm Italian, but.
And then he said, "It was like, hey, how about that Jersey Shore?" Yeah. and you're like, and he was like, "I think this guy's Italian." Don't tell him I told you that. I don't know, man. I mean, but I have come across people like that where they're, and it's, for me, it's never been like a cultural or racial thing, but they automatically like, oh yeah, because I know all about that because my father. Is your father here?
Right.
No. Let me tell you something you don't know. I know more about it than you do because I used to fuck your father. Right? So but I think that because I'm gonna say I think your sample size is small because of your area. And so you're running into more people that have adopted that particular mindset.
I guess. I mean that's a fair enough reason, I guess.
I mean, because to be fair, and when I say to be fair, what I mean is to be completely not fair and just make shit up because that's really the only thing I could do. If I lived in your small town, because there are a smaller population of black people there, I would make up all kinds of fucking bullshit about black people and the things that we know. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, from the time we're born and everything, it's like we know how to fight. It's like, it's like we don't even like. I knew how to say motherfucker before I even knew how to say mother. It was that's just how black people are.
He's saying his first words.
I would just make up all kinds of shit, and I'm like. It's like, do you know that? Because also because I like to lie.
Right.
I'm sorry. I like to tell exaggerated truths.
Sure.
Lying is bad. Okay. But I'll say this, and you can back me up on this. I have never purposely told a lie to someone and not shortly thereafter told them I was lying.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Because I don't just put it out there to lie, and then I want to see if you're going to...
There was one time where you forgot, but you caught on that you forgot, and you corrected it later.
What was that?
Oh, we can't talk about it on the podcast.
Oh,
okay. I can say that it involved Wallcrawler, and after he had gone home for the weekend, you were like, oh shit, I never told him that was a lie!
Oh, okay. But at least I meant to, though.
Yeah, your heart was in the right place.
And since I don't really exactly know what it was that I said, I'm not even sure if I still told him that was a lie. So remind me after this.
I will.
To what I said, so I can go back and tell him that. Actually, at this point now, though, it might be a little too late.
It might be, because he might not remember that conversation either.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm going to punch this in on my notepad here so you can see what it is.
But at the same time, though, if he listens to this, then he's going to be like, what did he fucking say to you? He lied to me. And then, of course, his mind's just going to race. It's going to be like something like, he didn't like my socks. He didn't fucking like my socks. Be like, I don't know. Your socks are fine. You got fine socks, Wallcrawler. But I think I actually would like just make up shit, just because. But the thing about making up lies is that every lie, oh yeah. Yeah. Every lie has to have 40 to 60% truth.
Yeah.
So I would make a lie like this. I would say something that, do you know that there's, and some people know this, some people don't, but, what are they called? Is it cilia?
Celiacs?
No, not celiacs. It's, there are these, they're the little, fibers in your ears that vibrate with sound. And I think they're called cilia, but I can't look it up because I don't know if they're spelled with a C or an S.
Yeah.
But they're the fibers that are in your ear canal that vibrate with sound. That's what transmits the sound, so you can hear. And of course, as you get older, they start to die off. and that's why if you get older, your hearing gets worse because they never grow back.
Right.
And the
right.
number that you have, or the amount that you have when you're born, are the amount that you will always have until they start to die off. And which is really kind of screwed up. So, like, once your hearing starts to go, there's no way for you to, like, naturally get your hearing back. They, like, say these things don't grow back. That's just it. And listening to, like, loud noise and stuff without protecting your ears can cause those things to like, I don't want to say be destroyed, but to be damaged early, and you can lose your hearing, earlier. So, and that's actually, you can look that up. That's actually true. So I would say start with something like that, and then follow it up with, the weird thing is that, like black boys are born with the full dick size they're going to have for the rest of their life. So their dick doesn't grow anymore. They start off with a complete full dick size, and then their body just grows around that. Absolute truth. Just like Celia. It's like what you have when you're born is what you're going to have for the rest of your life. And the thing is, you can't look that up. You can't look up, like, black dicks, right? I mean, you can.
Oh, you especially can't look up black baby dicks. You're
Right.
going to get on a watch list.
So you can, but you can look up about the little feelers that are in your ears, the fibers that are in your ears,
Yeah.
and that's complete truth. So you look that up, you figure that that's the truth, right? And be like, wow. And since I can't ask anybody, because that's something you can't ask anybody. You can't go up to a black person and be like, I want to ask you about your dick when you were a baby. So that you can't do that. So I would completely make up shit like that just because I could get away with it.
And I mean, that works with the mindset of the people in the town I live in, because, I mean, they'd just be like, nuh-uh, and it's like, well, have you ever seen a black baby? It's like, well, no. I reckon I ain't. Yeah, exactly.
That's right. Yeah, so people always make fun of, like, how black people walk and everything. Well, if you start walking a certain way, you adopt that walk for the rest of your life. So imagine a kid who's like 2 or 3 years old trying to walk with his little baby legs and that big ass dick, right? Stuffed up inside a diaper. You're going to walk funny. And then eventually, as you get older, you've just adopted that walk unless someone corrects you and be like, okay, you need to learn how to walk this way and talk this way, So I would definitely make up some shit like that.
I can see that.
And then the other part about it is, sometimes people will do things that they're not really Italian or any other kind of race, but they will use a stereotype and adopt that and be like, because I know about this thing because I am X.
Yeah.
And then you're like, and then they're like, and then you say it with enough conviction that people don't challenge you on it. And then you also put in, just a hint, like a dash, like just like, ooh, let me taste this soup. Like, just need a little pinch of it. You put in this little pinch of douchebaggery so that people don't want to have a further conversation with you to question that. Be like, okay, that's great. Now I'm going to go over here. And it's like, well, it's perfect. Now you believe me because you're not going to follow up to see, like, just how Italian or Jewish I am.
Yeah.
Right? Because I started off with this, like, bold statement. And I made it seem like I'm the best at it. Then I squeeze in a little bit of douchebaggery there to push you away. Bam.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that's the case with the people that you are referring to, but...
I mean, it's like I said, it's been a limited number of people spread out over a lot of years. So, I mean, I'm sure at least a couple of them, yeah, I think it would make sense in some contexts. In others, I just think that they're asshole people and they're just, like, looking for an excuse.
That's highly possible as
And
well.
I mean, I could do that too, I could just sprinkle it into my dialogue of like, well, I never obey the law because after all, I am English. So.
Right. It's like, what? It's like, I'm not bound by your laws. Technically, we still own this country. What are you talking about here?
Just because you guys decided to be seditionists doesn't make you right.
We could start the Civil War back up any minute now. I'm not talking about your little bullshit one you had. I'm talking about the real one here. All I gotta do is just whistle, and I can have like 200,000 redcoats on this shore right now. Try me. Try me.
I mean, Canada used to talk a big game too, but you'll notice the Queen's on all their money? That's because we made Canada our bitch, alright?
That's right. Yeah, and you know how we did that? We flirted with the French. Oh, we gotta get a couple more races in there. That way we can make sure we hit everybody.
We do. Because it's been mostly European people so far. Who cares about European people? They're fine.
According to our last demographics, we got like 1% other countries. The only way we're going to get them to listen to us more is by insulting them.
Yeah. They've got to prove us wrong.
Like they said, what?
Show us you're not all that bad.
That's right. You got to listen to it for yourself, man. I can't tell you all the shit they said, but it was bad. They said they're going to do more episodes. They're going to talk about your country. You should probably subscribe. That way you don't miss anything. It's interesting, like races and like how people act. This is going to come out really wrong. I think
Go on.
I'm going to make you come across really sound like really good compared to what I'm going to say. Is that the thing with things like stereotypes? Is that a portion of it, and more than you want to admit to, but a portion of that is true. The only problem is that it's over-exaggerated
Right.
in the stereotype, but there is a sprinkle of truth to that amongst, like, whatever that particular race or culture is. Like, there's a thread that travels through, and it's thicker in some spots than it is in others.
That's what she said.
God, what's wrong with your shit, man? Man, I'm so glad to be back, man. My shit was like thick all the way from when I was born till now. I will say that that's the bad part about it, is that when you're a baby, that shit's really big because you're a baby. But as you get bigger and you realize it's not going to get any bigger, then you end up like outgrowing it. But like, yeah, but I used to be much bigger comparatively.
You spend your entire teenage years thinking, oh God, I hope I don't grow up taller than 5'8".
Exactly. And the thing is, you can only shave so much, and like then you just slice no pieces of skin. Like, I've got to make this look bigger. I actually had like a tattoo. Had two crescents, like dark crescents, tattooed like on my inner torso to get this concave look, so it just stands out more like a 3D picture.
Tattooed contouring on there.
Just make it. And then though, so this is the worst part about it. This is why I'm such a horrible person, is because then when I do have sex with a girl, right, it looks big to them like an optical illusion, right? It looks big to them, but then when I put it inside, it's not very big. It's like it's the end. It's like, it's like I then think it's like it's because you're a slut and you're all worn out.
Yeah, I mean, the only way you can salvage yourself after that is to just make it all about them.
Right. Like, because you saw it. It was big to you, right? It's like, you saw it. No, you can't touch it. It's mine. I touch it. I feel like so like Plucky from like Tiny Toons. Not you later, it's my elevator. But, and then I just got to redeem myself. It's like, I'm so sorry. Damn, well, you should be.
One of the hardest truths you learn as a man is that when she continues yelling harder, she really is hitting that point where she just means bigger. It's like, yeah, I can't help you there. Sorry.
There's a, I used to, well, I say used to because I still like to, but just now as I get older, I carry so much shit in my pockets. Like, I got change, and I got my knife, and I got my wallet, and I got my cell phone, and things like that. But I used to carry like a little, it was actually like a little briefcase that came from one of my action figures.
Yeah.
And I would carry that with me. So when I got into situations where I just wanted to leave, I just grab it, pull it out, like, okay, I got my shit, I'm leaving now. Yeah, it's kind of a cheesy thing, but it's just like, at least then I'm redeeming myself in some ways. It's like, yeah, I realize that this is all going south, so got my shit, just pack my shit here, and I'm gone. And yeah, there's nothing like having to do that, in a situation like harder, but like, yeah, I got like my dick, one leg, and half a testicle, and it's still not doing it. So where's my little briefcase? It's time for me to leave. I give up.
Yeah. A big thing about being sexually active is learning the difference between deeper and bigger.
Oh, man. Yeah.
At some point, it's just like Kevin in the office doing the CPR thing, and it's just like, call it.
What's the time?
20 seconds. Call it.
That's, I actually tried for a short time. When you're younger, you really try to, you say stupid shit to try to save face. And in that moment, it makes perfect sense. Like, oh, I'm going to say this,
Yep.
and that'll help me save face from this situation. So I used to try to pretend like I was hard of hearing. But that doesn't, because the thing is, when they call you on your bluff, because they say shit you want to hear, and you respond to that, and it's like, oh, okay. It's like, and it's like, should I invite over my friend Kelly? Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, fuck. Shit. Oh, damn it.
I mean, what?
And then I just pull out my briefcase. Time for me to go. Oh, shit. I came this close to having Kelly. Damn it.
Yeah, you gotta play it cool.
Yeah. And you can't put shit in your ears because they're gonna see that, You're not hard of hearing. You just got shit in your ears. And there's no way to make the situation worse or to offend more people by going, that's how odd that people are. It's because that does not work out well. I know how much community service I had to do. And what's even worse, man? What's even worse is, so I grew up, for a large part of my life, I grew up in the South. From like 6th grade to like a couple years of college, I grew up in the South.
Yeah.
And when you do shit like that in the South, and you get like community service, and like, okay, we want you to pick up all this shit on the side of the road here, right? It took me, I think, probably 52 of my 96 hours of community service picking up shit on the side of the road before I was really like, wait a minute, this is a cotton field. You fuckers! I was wondering, like, who keeps tossing all this stuff out here? And like, I was like, you, Dylan, you son of a bitch. God damn you. Damn you all to hell.
Tricked again!
And they just stand there, like, shake my fist. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, making a Muhammad Ali noises. Ooh,
Jesus.
And right now, like Satan is sitting on his throne, like, he's just making it so easy. He's like, I don't have to do anything. He is on his way down here right now. I wish they were all like him. I don't have to put anybody on his shoulder either. He just does it himself. It's amazing. That ninja's gonna put me out of a job. And yes, Satan says ninja because he's not that stupid.
It's 2020. Satan can't afford to get canceled.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this shit don't run itself. Who else gonna keep all these Italians in line? And we're right back to the beginning.
Boom. It's the secret. If you bring it full circle, then it all makes sense.
Hemingway bitches. See, after saying shit like that, the devil doesn't scare me. It's everybody else. They don't understand. These are just jokes. They're like, if they're just jokes, why are we laughing? I'm like, I don't know.
Hemingway was kind of a freak.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never read any Hemingway.
I've read samples. It's really not that good, honestly. Like, he does a lot of, like, really short sentences, and he'll, like...
That's called writing a staccato.
Pretty much, yeah. Dave Sim did like a story about Hemingway and about the death of Hemingway and all that. And basically his contention is that, yes, Hemingway shot himself, but it's basically Mary's fault because she just gave him the keys to the gun safe knowing that he was suicidal.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be like me, like, having an addict over my house, but like, just gonna leave these pills laying all around. You know what that's like? That's like having a possessed doll in your house and inviting people to come in there and look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so whenever Dave Sim does a story on a writer, he always reads a lot of their stuff and tries to familiarize himself with them through their work. And at the end of the Hemingway story, his only comment was, Hemingway was not a writer, he was a typist. Because all he's doing is just typing words. He's not actually, like, pouring himself into his writing. Which I thought was a pretty interesting way of putting it. But then, yeah, he like, pasted up some, like, samples from his books, and it is, like, very, very dry and very rudimentary, I guess is the word for it.
Right.
But then he started posting excerpts from his journal, and that's why I say the man was kind of a freak.
Okay, do tell.
Well, he fucked his cats.
What kind of cats did he have?
I mean, just house cats.
How do you fuck? I mean, I don't want like
see,
it. I'm just
that's another thing you can't Google.
They can't. Yeah, but you can Siri it. Hey Siri.
Siri.
I don't think that's traceable.
Yes, I guarantee you that it's traceable.
I'm just saying, like that's not gonna show up like on your internet like browser history, but like and clean my Siri history while you're at it too.
Siri's gonna come in to report to Apple. They're like, "Yeah, so how's work going with this client?" So, well, he asked about fucking cats. So.
But I'm just like they're small. They're okay. Whatever. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. So just all kinds of weird sexual stuff like that.
Did he not have socks?
Did he not have socks?
Yeah.
Did he not have socks?
Yeah. He jerk off in a sock. I mean, like, did he not have socks? Like. Okay, for a guy that was supposed to be like a literary master, if he couldn't tell the difference between pussy and pussy, and you're like, well, you know.
Well, I think he was like trying to incept the pussy because it was like pussy within a pussy.
Oh, pussy. Okay, well, yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, it's not like we really have the opportunity to ask him here, but.
Well, we can. We break out the Ouija board.
Can we do that for a podcast episode?
I'm sure we can.
I would legitimately love to.
We'd have to like do a video recording too.
Yeah,
of us using the Ouija board to see who we can summon.
I would legitimately love to channel Hemingway and ask him about fucking the cats.
Oh man, I think we probably have to based upon what you said, we'd probably have to make a special Ouija board for him to make it more like a Telegram thing. So he'd be like, so it would match more with his writing style.
Yeah.
First you get a cat, and then we have instead of like a period, be like stop. You know? First you get a cat, stop. Then you tie the cat down, stop. And like, okay. Woody, can you? I know you have to put your hands on it, but could you like automate that in some way? Like attach like a robotic arm to it and connect it to like a so it's mapped out where this like with kind of like coordinates, right? So as it goes to that, it would then like display on the screen like what or print it out like what letter it went to.
Yeah.
That way I don't have to guess. That's going to be tiring. And that's the other thing too is like if you're spelling a word, like I've got to like first I got to remember like fucking Simon, like what letters like T, S, I, and it's like wait, oh shit. Is there like a start over button on there? Because I mean, we're
wait, Spirit, redo.
That's the one thing that people don't seem to understand when you're like trying to contact this is the ancient spirit from the 1700s. Most of those people are uneducated. So, I mean,
most of them couldn't spell in the 1700s.
right. So what makes you think it's because they're dead they can spell now? It's like, and then they always spell everything correctly. You can always tell when Joey is the one that's like manipulating the device because everything's always spelled wrong. They're like, okay, yeah, we're not contacting anybody, are we? But yeah, I think we could do that. We could maybe break out on a Ouija board and see if we can. But what you like? How do you contact that particular person though? Do we have to put like a copy of like The Old Man and the Sea or Farewell to Arms something like around or?
It's a good question. I guess we'd have to actually talk to a medium and see what the actual deal is there.
Because I mean, we can't just like put like a shotgun or like 2 shotgun shells on the table. We could get so many people that way. But like, no, not you, not you, not you. My arms would get tired after a while.
I mean, I'm pretty sure with Ouija boards, you just summon whatever spirit you summon and hope for the best.
Yeah. Okay, great. That's just like drunk dialing somebody.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, that's...
Hi, number neighbor.
Yes. No, thank you. But so you mentioned Hemingway, and that's how we got down this road here. I have a question. So there's the Hemingway legacy,
mm-hmm.
and I wonder if that Hemingway legacy is that really this inherited like biological like mental instability, or is it because it's Hemingway and you are the relatives of Hemingway that subconsciously like it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy?
Yeah.
But you're not actively taking part in it, but it's always being brought up as you are put into like the public, the spotlight, and it's always being brought up, like your name can't be mentioned without mentioning who you are or related to, and then how they died.
Right.
It's always that.
Right.
And that and that any time like it was like, oh yeah, I got pissed off and yelled at somebody, like, oh yeah, that there's a history of mental instability in their family. It's like, well, I mean, shit. I mean, you keep telling somebody one thing, after a while they're going to start to believe it. So,
yeah.
Is it really that, or is it that that you over time there's like this kind of mental conditioning that has kind of led them down this path? I'm curious about that.
Yeah. I know. With like some families, there's evidence of it just being purely genetic, and like. Even if you don't know about the history of your family until you yourself have been diagnosed, like that kind of thing can definitely be genetic. But as far as like specifically with the Hemingways, I don't know.
I mean, even if there is that kind of a history, it doesn't mean that everyone's going to have full-blown psychosis.
Well, yeah, no.
So yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of situations where it would be a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, man. So this all started off with Italians.
Fucking Italians, man.
So I have a question, going back to that whole thing, is because you live in a small town area, which, let's clarify something. You live in a small town that is very close to a larger town.
Yeah.
So it's not like you live in this isolated small town in the middle of Nowheresville, right? It's like you live in a town with a very small population.
Right.
That is right next to, when we say right next to, within like 15, 20 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes, okay, of a bigger, larger town, like.
So, yeah. So, like, my town is like a little one-stoplight town. And then you drive about 30 minutes, you get to the bigger town, which has like Walmarts and Targets and shit like that. And then another 10 or 15 minutes past that, and you're in a big-ass city with a college and all that. So it's not like I'm completely stranded out in nowhere.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so the people that are that act like this in a small town, be like, "Oh, I'm just a small town guy," but that's because you choose to be.
Right.
Like you choose to stay within the confines of this area.
But one of the Italians I met was in the bigger town, and the other one of the Italians I met was in the big city. Actually,
Okay.
the big city where I currently work in. So,
Because the
yeah,
other
so
thing
it's
I was
not
going to ask
strictly
is,
limited to the rural area.
well, the reason I was asking that is because, like, you have an Italian restaurant in your town,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to think that it's run by Italians. And I
I
say,
don't know. I've never met the owners.
and I say I would like to think that because, at the mall here a long time ago, they used to have like a little Japanese restaurant in like the food court.
Yeah.
It was a what do you call that? I don't really care for it that much. What's it?
Hibachi?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, out of all Japanese food, hibachi is like my least favorite thing. But it was a little hibachi place, and it was run by these like, I don't know, they were Middle Eastern. I don't know if they were Pakistani or if they're, but I'm like, you're not Japanese,
Right, right.
and that's not. I mean, you don't have to be Japanese to run a Japanese restaurant, but there's a sense of authenticity.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not like you can't learn, but if I went into a soul food restaurant and they were like, yeah, we got soul food, we got grits and we got collard greens and, and all this kind of stuff. And it was run by, I don't know, like
Irish people.
Well, I was gonna say, like it was run by someone from like Yugoslavia. I'm not quite sure that I would be able to say, okay, this is truly authentic soul food. I mean, like, maybe you were like raised or trained by somebody or taught to cook this, but I would go in there and be like, no, thank you.
Right.
So that's why I said like I would hope that, because when I saw that I didn't want the hibachi anyway, but I saw like this doesn't feel right to me.
Right.
And the food was probably really good. I mean, and if it was like, I don't know, like a Sbarro's that was run by Aborigines. I mean, it's Sbarro's. I mean, do we even exist anymore?
Yeah, yeah. There's
really?
the Sbarro's in Roanoke. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I eat there sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
How the hell did they make it when all these other restaurants failed? Who was eating at Sbarro's? Like
me.
Is it in the mall? It can't
Yep.
be a Okay, I was gonna say, because is there even such a thing as a standalone Sbarro's?
I don't think so. I've never seen one outside of a mall.
God, it's like, how desperate are you for pizza while you're shopping in the mall? And you're like, fuck it, I'll eat a Sbarro's. I mean, like that's the absolute worst, man.
For me, it's because it's the only place in any of like the areas within driving distance of me that has like those big flat New York style slices. There's nowhere to get a good New York style slice anywhere within driving distance of where I am. So if I want the New York style slice as opposed to like something like Pizza Hut or something that's like thicker, just can't get it unless I go to Sbarro's.
So come to Sbarro's and have a slice of our pizza that's been sitting under a warming light for the past 4 hours.
But yeah, it's the same thing with like Subway, where it's like, I would never go to Subway of my own choice, but if I really want a meatball sub, then where else am I going to go? And I just have to accept that it's like, this has just been sitting out all day because that's gross, but...
I just hope I never have a craving that bad for a meatball sub that I would decide to go into Subway. I won't even buy a soda from Subway. I mean, and they have bottled sodas there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, man. My cravings for like stuff just knows no bounds.
And the other thing about Sbarro's is that it's such a bullshit thing that they try so hard to sound Italian that their name is it's two consonants that don't go together before a vowel.
Yeah.
They're like, doesn't that sound really Italian? Sbarro's.
Sbarro.
Like, oh yeah, it does sound like, no, it sounds a bullshit. That's what it sounds like.
It's some bullshit.
I'm like, oh no, get out of here with that. That guy's Italian. Yeah.
Yeah. People should feel sorry for us because this is the only way you're gonna get a New York style slice.
It reminds me of that scene from Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal when the the lawyer's looking for Billy Crystal, and he tells and he thinks it's a guy trying to serve him like one of the crims that they busted,
Yeah.
trying to serve him with papers for what do you call it, police brutality.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And so Gregory Hines, he's pretending to be him. He goes in the women's restroom, and the guy comes in there, and he's like, you Costanza? He's like, yeah, I'm Costanza. You don't look Costanza. He's like, what do you want me to do? He's like, you want me to like sweat spaghetti sauce for you, lose a war? We watched it, didn't we? Running Scared.
Did we? I don't think so.
Oh, there's a scene in there where he calls the guy because he wants Gregory Hines is sleeping with a married woman, and they're trying to get her. Then they call the other cops and say that her husband is like a criminal that they're looking for, so he can get arrested, so he can spend the weekend with her.
No.
And then he calls him up and he's like, hello? He goes, I used to inform for Hughes and Costanza, but they don't pay me no more. Oh, no, what a man.
No, I have not seen this movie.
I love Running Scared. It's like so damn funny.
Well, yeah, no, definitely not seen that movie.
Oh, yeah. It's got Dan Hedaya in it, the late Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal, directed by Peter Hyams, has a... Well, I'm trying to think of the guy's name now. He was in Scarface. And then and the thing is, I just had a conversation about the other guy, John Grise in it.
Okay.
Who's actually on Dream Corp LLC. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was in like Fright Night 2, and he was on like the first season of Martin, and of course he was in Running Scared, and he's been in all kinds of things. So, and I can't. Stephen Bauer, that's the other guy.
Okay. Yeah.
So. Pretty good cast of people, and it's a pretty funny movie. I dig it quite a bit. So, all right. So that's you open this up, so you got to close it. I can't take it away and then close it on like.
No, I think this is a good note to end on. So yeah, this has been an offensive one.
No, it's been a character study on race relations and first impressions.
And folks, if you're Italian, then feel free to prove me wrong. I mean, have a conversation with me without bringing up the fact that you're Italian. It's kind of like CrossFit, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, all you CrossFit people, I defy you to have a conversation with me where you don't bring up CrossFit. It's that kind of thing. So,
but I'm going to warn you, though, the first thing I'm going to say is like, dude, you're really looking kind of cut, man.
Hey, you're jacked, bro.
It's like, how'd you do that? You eating right? Do you exercise? Like, yes. So what are you doing, man? Like Pilates or yoga? Dude, it's CrossFit. It's so fucking awesome. Let me tell you about it. Like, you lose.
Yeah, you know, it's that kind of thing where it's like, wow, yeah, you really seem to know a lot about biscottis. What's your secret? And it's like, Italian.
And I'm just gonna tell you right now, like threatening to like attack us and beat us up or stab us or rub us out, that's not gonna prove us wrong. Okay, I'm just putting it out there right now. That's not gonna prove us wrong.
That'll just confirm everything.
That's right. So I mean, if you really want to prove us wrong, those are things you should probably stay away from. Remember, if you do feel the need to go that route, Acomi started this, so go after him first.
That's me, folks. I'm Acomi.
and when I say go after him first, the job has to be complete before you come after me.
You can find me on social media at AcomiDraws.com.
And you can find me, Turk182. I actually don't have a Twitter account, so you can just message me at Acomi Draw at Twitter.com. I don't know what the hell is that. I don't use that shit anyway. I fucking hate that thing.
Oh yeah, me too.
That's why I don't even mention it anymore. Like, I hate it. I mean, I don't even. I mean, yeah, if you want to message me on there, that's fine. But I don't like that. I don't like anything about it.
Yep.
But anyways, yes, that's us.
Yep, and you can listen to other podcast stuff.
Yep.
Like other podcasts entirely that don't talk about Italians.
But, you know, I'm going to toss this thing out there as like the last thing I'm going to say is I was having a conversation with somebody and I was like, you know, here's the thing is, like, I don't really have, like, a diverse group of friends. Like, I mean, it's not for lack of want, but I can't go out there looking for a baby like, hey, will you be my friend? Are you Latino, gay, trans, you Italian, you European anyway? No, sorry. I'm looking for those. I got enough of you guys already. I got enough black, white, and Chinese people. I need some other kinds of friends. Like, I mean, that's how you go looking for friends. You find friends organically, no matter who they are. So
you put it out on Craigslist where it's like...
yeah, that's what I want to do.
Single black male seeking gay French friend platonically.
Yeah. And they're like, I know how to play tonic, but maybe you can teach me. You're like, no.
Strictly platonically.
But I mean, so the thing is, like, I don't have any of them, but it's just because I haven't come across any, you know, be like, oh, hey, you know, will you be my friend? I mean, that's not really the way to start a conversation. But I'm not opposed to it either. I'll say that. I'm not opposed to it. I'm not opposed to any really good, strong friendship.
Yeah. I'll be friends with anybody who gives this podcast good reviews and tells all their friends about it.
Well, I mean, honestly, the way that you want to become friends with Acomi is by saying that, yes, I'm an artist. I'd love to take a look at your work. Because otherwise, he's just going to walk away.
Yeah, it'll just kind of slow the process down. I'll get back to you eventually in that case.
You're never living that down. Because I'm never going to let you. Never going to give you up. Never going to let you live that down.
Anyway.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.